I'm your host Q of the podcast Bootleg Like Jazz, and I'm coming to you. Do you want outside companies controlling what I talk about? The guests that I bring on? The posts that I repost and post? And the stories that I ignore? If you do not, I need you to support. Bootleg Like Jazz is not a hobby and it cannot run without your support. Head over to Bootleg Like Jazz. Go to the page Apopoda and donate. You can donate as many times as you want. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for watching and listening to Bootleg Like Jazz. I'm your host, Q. And today on the show, we're going to talk about all the recent trends that have been going on amid the coronavirus pandemic. We're going to talk about everything from hashtag stay home, work safe, all the way to crime. And then we're going to talk about what and how does the business and also economic stimulus package impact you. This is a great show. You don't want to miss it. Do not forget to hit the button subscribe, turn on your notifications, and follow. Today on the show, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is going on with the coronavirus. On our show today, we have the amazing Chris Legier from show 1002. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How y'all doing?
Awesome. We're good. Hey, thanks for being on the show today, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. So let's just dive right in, folks. Has crime gone down because of the coronavirus? You tell me. But the facts are what they are. If you go look at KHOU.com in Houston and Business Insider, there are several articles saying that, yes, crime has gone down. But some people say that because people are, required to stay home, shelter in place, domestic violence is on the rise. And is that domestic violence only towards women, or is it towards kids, or both? I don't know. But we want to talk about it today on the show. Also on the show, we want to talk about scams. It has been reported that the FBI has seen a surge in coronavirus-related attacks. I bring this to you, folks, because I want you to be safe. Some of them including phishing, and that's PH, right? Where they're scams disguised as fake CDC emails from charities that don't exist, and fake airline refunds. And obviously, of course, because of the economic stimulus package, you definitely know that there's people that are out there trying to get your check. We want to talk about this because we want you to be safe. We want you to be aware of what's going on, and we want you to be proactive. So, Chris, once again, thanks for being on the show. What are your thoughts about some of the recent trends in crime, scam, and things along those lines?
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like crime has gone down. That's because they're not leading the news with it. I'm not really sure how much crime has gone down. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gone down at least a significant amount because everybody's in fear and really with sheltering in place. But also we have to look at too, like I was saying, the news is not reporting it. Everything is the coronavirus. So sometimes you might get a distorted reality of the actual news and crime statistics.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. In the news has been people who've been profiteering off of what's going on. People selling masks, Lysol, and toilet paper for crazy prices. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. No matter what happens in the world, whether it's a crisis, a depression, the economy is booming, somebody's always going to figure out a way to make money. And then the actual profiteering, I don't think it's right. People shouldn't be doing it. I know when I went to my little convenience store, I mean, right when the epidemic broke and the panic set in, everybody was buying up toilet paper.
Everybody, and Chris, I want to keep the conversation going. I want to talk a little bit about the social distancing guidelines. So today is March 30th, 2020. 31st, 2020, and tomorrow will be April 1st. They have extended today, our county judge, Judge Hidalgo, and then on Sunday, our president, extended the social distancing guidelines to the end of April. I predict people are going to freak out a little bit. I predict that April is going to be a tough month for people.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough month for people economically. I think it's going to be a tough month for people socially speaking, and I also think it's going to be a tough month for people in terms of like their careers and their goals, because they've already had to go through March thinking that by this Friday things were going to be a little better. Maybe they could go back to being around people, get their money up, whatever. But on Sunday, before April even started, they were told it's extended to the 30th of May. I'm sorry, the 30th of April. And some people think it might be longer than that. I want to know from you, Chris. What about you as well, listeners? But Chris, tell me, do you think this month of April is going to be hard for everyday working people?
Well, because people are starting to, the economic stimulus, the $1,200 stimulus isn't going to kick in for another 2 weeks, I think. And President Trump was talking about something like it's going to be a hard 2 weeks. I think what he meant is that these $1,200 checks aren't going to be coming until for about another 2 weeks. But also we got to look at the thing about people can't just sit in the house all the time, because we are social creatures. But the economic impact, the impact on the schools, it's going to have some lasting effects. How tough is it going to be? 30 days, 3-4 weeks is a long time to sit and do nothing. This is what it seems like. We're doing. But the thing I'm worried about is, if we sit here for the next 30 days, and as the news and the media keep on counting the number of cases, and then they keep on counting the death toll, if that keeps on rising and going up because of the media-driven story, then it could go well until May the 15th, or something's got to give economically.
And of course, he's talking about that bend, that curve. Yeah, I hear you. I just found out I found out two things. One we'll talk about in a little bit, but one thing I found out before the show started was that some school districts here in Harris County and in the surrounding counties, their buildings are closed until the beginning of May, whereas some of them said it was by Friday. I think that is significant, and that also goes into people's worries, anxieties, childcare, things along those lines. What do you think?
Yeah, it's the thing. This is really letting us know, honestly, this is really letting us know what is essential in society and what's really not. The longer this goes on, the more we're going to figure that out. But the thing about this social distancing is it really, in a sense, is it really working? And see, the catch-22 of it is politicians are going to be able to say, yeah, because we shut everything down and we wrecked the economy, we saved lives from the virus. But that's what they call, that's one of those counterfactual type of arguments. We can't disprove it because we didn't run the experiment in reverse.
Right, because it's par for the course, right.
Yeah, but the question is, when, let's say, for instance, the question is, let's say May the 1st comes around. When May the 1st comes and they say, okay, everything's back open. Kids, y'all can go back to school for the month of May, even go into June a little bit. The NBA and all the sports leagues start playing again. They start having events and everything in May. So what happens if they do that and then this virus just explodes all of a sudden? Then we just have millions of cases. So then we would ask ourselves, okay, we want to do the social distancing. The only way this is going to work is if we're taking time to prepare for, according to them, what's going to be the inevitable onslaught of the virus.
Yes. You bring up great points. Hey, you guys tell us what you think. go to bootleglikejazz.com. Leave us a comment. Use the hashtag BLLJ. Chris, when you were speaking, something else was brought to my attention. It just broke right before our show tonight that Harris County is going to release some non-violent criminals. My question to you, Bootleg Like Jazz is definitely, against prisoner pipeline, definitely against a lot of social injustices, and one of those being marijuana. Chris, I want to know from you, them releasing non-violent offenders right now amid this pandemic, and going back to what you said, that we're starting to reevaluate the things that are essential and not essential because of social distancing. Is this release of non-violent prisoners a precedent for marijuana decriminalization, as well as the expungement of certain marijuana convictions that are non-violent and of a low weight here in the state of Texas?
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be. The trend for legalization of marijuana, marijuana is about to be legal anyway. But here's the biggest social economic issue with releasing 1,000 inmates. See, the problem is I really have no problem releasing non-violent inmates. You know what I mean? Because prisons really should be used for people who are honest to God threats to society. But the problem comes into this. All those 1,000 inmates, those non-violent, let's say drug offenses, people get caught with marijuana and stuff like that. How many of those people did you actually lock up that couldn't make bail, that actually lost jobs, they lost opportunities because they were locked up? So now what you're doing is you're releasing these people, you release them from the city or the county's care, and they have to go back to their families. And with resources already being stretched thin enough as it is, how does that play? Will these people be eligible for unemployment benefits? Because you release
bring up good points.
Adults, non-violent adults. I'm not sure how many of these people lost jobs. They have no source of income. So are they going to also be eligible? You see, that's the problem with this. One thing about this crisis, there's a lot of questions that it's forcing us to ask ourselves. It's really forcing us to reevaluate how we operate as a society. But my thing is, I'm wondering is, after this is declared over, we're going to go back to the things that wasn't working before. Now, the only thing with this is politically releasing 1,000 inmates, non-violent inmates. I just hope and pray that they don't commit any crimes, because then the county judges and the politicians are going to be blamed for it.
Right. There's always a little bit of margin to work with, but hopefully the numbers will be better on the positive than on the other side. Hey, Chris, we want to thank you for joining us here on Bootleg Like Jazz. Where can people find you online?
Oh, man, just keep it simple. Go to show1002.com.
Thanks.
Go to show1002.com.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, man. All right, talk to you later, bro.
All right, thank you.
There you have it. That was our special guest, Chris, from show1002.com. Check him out. This has been Bootleg Like Jazz. Leave us a comment, subscribe, follow us, use hashtag BLLJ. We bring you the topics, the stories that are important to the Black and the Afro Latinx community. If this resonates with you, head over to Bootleg Like Jazz. Go to the page Apropos de and donate. And also consider supporting us on patreon.com/BLLJ. I'm your host, Q, of the podcast Bootleg Like Jazz, and I'm coming to you. Do you want outside companies controlling what I talk about? The guests that I bring on? The posts that I repost and post? And the stories that I ignore? If you do not, I need you to support. Bootleg Like Jazz is not a hobby, and it cannot run without your support. Head over to Bootleg Like Jazz. Go to the page Apropos de and donate. You can donate as many times as you want. Hey everybody, this is Q, the host of the new and noteworthy podcast Bootleg Like Jazz. This episode is going to talk about how the 2020 economic stimulus package will impact you. If you are an artist organization, or an educator, you definitely want to tune in to this episode. If these stories resonate with you, head over to bootleglikejazz.com as well as on YouTube and donate, subscribe, turn on notifications, and use a comment. Give us a comment rather using the hashtag BLLJ. So let's just dive right in. First things first. The $2 trillion stimulus package passed by Congress late Wednesday, and this is March 31st, includes more than $370 billion for small businesses. My sources are the New York Times and a lot of the other major news outlets. Basically, if you are a small business, if you also are an artist, if you also are an arts educator or an educator, there's opportunities and money for you. One thing I want small businesses to pay attention to is a thing called Paycheck Protection Program. You can go over to SBA.gov, that's smallbusinessadministration.gov, to find out more information about this. This package includes about $350 billion for small businesses and also small businesses at any stage. So if you are formed, if you are in business and been making money, whether small or you met a threshold, you definitely want to take advantage of this. And once again, you can go to SBA.gov to find out more info about this. The loans are backed by the Small Business Administration, but you can apply through your bank. So check your bank to see as well and use those two different websites as well. Also, the benefits don't end there. I already told you that you can find out about it at SBA.gov. That's the Paycheck Protection Program. There's a formula that they use that dictates how much you get, basically. If the business spent that money on employees, a mortgage, rent, or utilities, the principal of the loan will be forgiven. But like I said, it's even for folks who maybe, are gig working or things on those lines, freelance as well. Those opportunities are there for you as well. Also, I want to talk about the Houston Arts Alliance. You can search that up on Google. It'll pop up real quickly. You can also go to Bootleg Like Jazz. Email me at bootlegjazz@gmail.com to find out more information about it. But they have tons of resources if you are an artist, if you are an organization or an arts organization or an educator or arts educator. The different options, the different things that they have that you can find out about is Houston Arts Alliance Communications. They have a damage assessment survey. Something was due on March 31st, so if I say it and it's past due, please forgive me. But the other things you still have time for. You also have the Digitize Your Experience, economic strategies, emergency grants, government assistance, and resources for educators. You definitely want to take your time and fill those things out. Me personally, I just kind of looked through them real quickly. If you really were dedicated, you can get those things done in an afternoon. So I would definitely encourage you, if you're somebody who is economically impacted in any way, shape, form, or fashion, to reach out to that website, take some time, read over the different economic relief options that they have and do them. Some of them are surveys. Those are important. You know why? Because when this is over, and this will be over, there will be a relief stimulus, a relief package, a relief fund to make sure that we are represented in those numbers, and that those funds and resources are allocated to the right needs. You've got to, fill out the survey. Be as detailed as possible. Do not be intimidated by this. I would dare even say, write as if they are stupid, right? And I don't mean like they are, unintelligent, but they don't know who you are. Tell them what they need to know so that you, our community, and our community of artists like you and myself can get those resources. If you have questions, email me at bootleg, BOOTLEGL bootleglikeJazz@gmail.com. And let me know that you need some help. I can, get you to those resources. Also, many of these links that were talked about in this video will be available in the description. Hey, if these stories resonate with you, if these guests, these topics, mesh with you, subscribe, donate, contribute, turn on notifications. We cannot do this without you. And if we do it without you, then other people are going to tell us what to talk about. It's up to you. Hey, I love you guys. This is Bootleg Like Jazz. Big shout out to the Alex Q and Bold Media crew for what they do.